Barry Bovver, Part 2. Columns cracked and tumbled to the ground. Boosh! The entire building began to crumble before an old lady popped her head out of a top window. How can I help you, dear? She called down. Oh, I'm Barry Bovver, Barry Bovver shouted back. Yes? Father to my daughter, Brian Bovver. Funny name for a girl, but anyway, yes, dear? And I'm gonna wreak revenge on this school. Did you say school, dear? Asked the old lady. Yeah. This isn't a school, she replied. This is the old folks' home. The school is right next door. This stopped Barry in his tracks. My brain hurts, he exclaimed. Easy mistake to make. We always get in their post. School is just there, dear. Sorry. Thank you. Have a nice day, dear, added the old lady as the front wall of the building tumbled to the ground. Crash, wallop, bang. All the old folks were revealed in their rooms, cooing at Barry Bovver's remodelling of their home. Ooh, what a lovely view. Ooh, nice to have some fresh air. Is it time for tea? Meanwhile, Barry Bovver stomped off next door. To be completely sure he was in the right place, Barry shouted up at the building. Headmistress! After a moment, a proper-looking lady popped her head out of her office window. School is closed, she barked, patting her hairdo. Oh, Barry Bovver, he shouted. My daughter Brian Bovver's dad. Peculiar name for a girl, but do go on. My princess is in tears. Poor Princess Brian, she never cheated in no test. Yes, I am so sorry. Apologies. I made a mistake. It was Swifty Swindle all along. The boy's been put in detention. I just telephoned your home, but there was no answer. The front wall caved in. Oh dear, I am sorry to hear that. Now I must dash home to catch some cartoons before tea, so I do pray this is the end of the matter. No, it is not, raged Barry. I'm going to teach this school a lesson. We do the teaching here. Thank you, Mr. Bovver, replied the headmistress. Don't you make a mug out of me. This school is for it. And with that, the beast of a man leaned down and wedged his mighty sausage fingers underneath the building. Dad, stop, shouted a breathless Brian, who had just made it to the school gates with her mother. Both were coated from head to toe in dust. The picture of them there, all dusty. Barry, please think, added Bianca. I don't think, it makes my brain hurt. I use my muscles, he boomed. Now stand back. And then, after a considerable amount of huffing and puffing, he lifted the entire school building off the ground. Oof! Put this school down at once, ordered the headmistress, or I'll put you in detention too. You can write out 100 lines. I must not lift the school building off the ground. No, shouted Barry. I'm not doing no detention. I'm going to put this school where it belongs, in the bin. And there's a picture of him with it. Holding the entire weight of the school building with his arms, he staggered across the playground to the wheelie bins in the corner. He exclaimed in effort. The school was heavy, 1,000 times heavier than 2 caravans. I don't think it's going to fit, Dad, shouted Brian. Her father was really straining with the weight now. Beads of sweat as big as tennis balls were pouring down his face. He looked up at the huge school building, then down at the not-so-big bins. Even Barry Bovver could see that this wasn't going to work. Do you have any bigger bins? He called up to the headmistress, who was clinging onto the window frame for dear life. No, she wailed. Now put the school down this instant. Barry went left, then right. Then the entire school building began wobbling. Please, Dad, do as the headmistress says, called Brian. Now the beads of sweat were the size of footballs. I don't think I can hold it. But before Barry could say longer, he lost his grip, and the school came crashing down upon him. Boom, splat. Dad, called Brian as a horrified mum held her tight. There was no way they could lift the school building, however hard they tried. Is he all right? Hollered the headmistress. No, he's not. Call an ambulance. Call the fire brigade. Call the police, bawled Bianca. I know, exclaimed Brian. Let's call the strong men. And that's exactly what they did. And in no time, the 9 strong men and 1 strong woman had arrived. Mickey Mike, dressed only in his tight red underpants, Chaz Carnage, Vince Vicious, Mungo Muscle, the Ogre, Pete Punch, Gunter Girth, Dick Dents, Thunder Thump, and Cloris Clout all rushed to the scene, and once they were all there, they gathered around the school building and placed their sausage fingers beneath it. Heave! Called Brian, and the 10 strong people lifted the school high into the air. Underneath, their comrade Barry Bovver was lying there as flat as a pancake. They put the school building down on the playground. Shunt. And there's a picture of it. With all the strong people. Brian and Bianca rushed over to him. Dad! Dad, are you okay? Gushed his tearful daughter. Sorry, Brian. I think the school was just a tiny bit too heavy for me. Nina, Nina, an ambulance sped to the playground. The doctors rolled Barry Bovver up like a French-style crepe so they could fit him in the back of the ambulance. Is he going to be all right? Asked Brian. We should be able to knead him back into shape, replied the doctor. I hope this brain hasn't been damaged in some way. I don't think there's any chance of that, replied the girl. And just as the ambulance doors were about to close, Barry the crepe sat up from the stretcher and addressed his fellow strong people. I know I'm not the brightest spark, he began, but I hope I've taught you all an important lesson today. What? Do tell us. We want to know, replied all the strong people. I may not be the brightest spark, but remember this. Never try to lift a school building above your head, declared Barry. There was silence for a moment before all the strong men and one strong woman broke into applause. Hear, hear, well said, clever man. And there he is, celebrated for his intelligence. Brian smiled. You will always be my brightest spark, Dad. The brightest spark of light in my life. The man looked close to tears. Thanks. Next time I will try to use my brain, he said, pointing to his chest. Brian didn't have the heart to tell him his brain was actually in his head. And as the ambulance doors closed, Barry Bovver smiled and waved goodbye with his huge flat hand. And that's the end of that one. The next one is called Posy Pooch, the mother who loved her dog much more than her child. There's a picture of her. We'll read that one tomorrow. Bye.